Going from a single location simulation to a multi-location simulation is fairly easy, especially if we want to just do a simple walk around. So let's take our Wayne Street single family resident example and let's create a couple different views. Now I already took pictures of the A side, the AB side, the C side, and the D side. So now let's go into SimsUshare to add those locations. I'm going to go to Edit and I say Wayne Street. I'm going to edit this one. Now what we do to add locations is use the location menu. So we go here and we say new location, and I'm going to call this one A-B, and now I'm going to set the background. I'm going to select a photo from disk. I'm going to take my AB corner. This is why it's a good idea to name your pictures when you're ready to create your simulation. Click open, and now there's my picture. I hit create. And now, if you notice, I'm editing Alpha Bravo side, and I can add in my smoke and fire. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to complete this by also adding in my Charlie side. I'm going to say set background here, select photo from disk, go to Charlie side, hit open, it'll go over here, and I hit create. Now lastly, and this is going to be something interesting, I'm going to go and do my Delta side. I'll call it D, and I'll set my background, select photo from disk, select Delta side, hit open. Now instead of just hitting create, I'm going to take a look at this list over here. This list gives me a chance to copy in any of the smoke and fire, any of the assets from one of the locations that already exist. And that way, if I had something complex or smoke and fire that I wanted to keep looking exactly the same, I could just go and click copy initial location, which was my alpha side's assets. What will happen now is when it creates that side, you'll see here, it creates it with the smoke and fire or whatever other elements were on that location. And this is really useful when you have a very complicated smoke pattern, something you've heavily customized, which we get into the next lesson, that you don't want to have to recreate from scratch. Now what we'll show as well in the just in a couple of minutes is how you can copy and paste effects between locations. So here I can configure this, do everything that I want, but the D side smoke is different from the A side smoke. Now when I actually go here to actually edit the locations, I use the location menu again. You can see here I can rename, set navigation, but if I want to switch over to another location, I just scroll down and I can just click on the location, and that takes me back to whichever location I want to actually edit. A, B, C, and let's say my D over here. I'm going to go back. I have to click and drag. Now over here, D, I'm going to move this over back to the window where it was. I might scale it down if my picture is a little bit different. I'm going to go back over here, click and move my smoke in place, and there I've got my D side. Now how am I going to get that over into, let's say, my Alpha Bravo corner? What I can do is when I have an element that is selected, I can go here and copy the effect, and then I can go back over here and I can go over to my Alpha Bravo, and if I go back to the menu, you'll see this paste effect, and that will put it in exactly the same spot it was. So I'm going to move it over here with all any configuration changes I've done. So this is how I can actually get effects that I've already configured into other locations, and actually even into other scenarios. So if I go back now actually and get my let me go back to the initial location and pick up my fire. Now I can go here and do copy effect individually, or if I'm not editing anything in particular, I can go here and copy effects, and then it will let me copy multiple effects at the same time. So if I now go back over to my Alpha Bravo side, and now I'm going to go back and paste effects because I had the flame there, the flame in the right speed, color, everything that I actually set. I can scale that down. So now if I now go press play, it's showing me Alpha Bravo, but I've got no way to get to other locations. That's why what I'm going to do is go to the walk around maker. When I do the walk around maker, now what I do is here are all my locations, and I'm going to put the locations in order of how I want to loop them clockwise. So I'm going to say first I'm going to take initial location, The next clockwise I want to alpha Bravo, next clockwise Charlie, and last delta. And the path direction right to left is supposed to be clockwise, and I say make loop. Now when I actually run my simulation, I have my arrow cluster here. I'm in alpha Bravo. If I went left, I go to Charlie. If I go left again, I go to delta. And if I go left again, I'm back at alpha side. If I go right, I go to my delta view. I go right again, I'm at Charlie. I go right at my alpha Bravo, and right again back to alpha. So making a multi-location simulation with this simple walk-around is really just about creating new locations and then using the walk-around maker to make my loop.